I think it's always, the Wankele is always a high-scoring game. Margins are very small there in terms of where you want to land the ball. And your execution at the end of the day needs to be on cue. Yeah, it's very similar. I think only saving grace is you can always have a little bit of overcast conditions. In England, we always find there's something in with the new ball, and I think we cover a lot of bases in terms of what and who we can put in different roles. We've got guys who can bowl well with the new ball like Arshid. I think the way he's come back after a lengthy layoff has been very, very good. Prince has done exceptionally well, and then Arshdeep with his experience. We're also thinking of going with the bigger grounds, taking pace a little bit off the ball. I mean, those are all options and discussions we're having as a group. But I think today we're going to have the first look at the venue. Stats may say dictate one aspect of it, but I think at the end of the day we still need to fit and see what's going to be the best for us going forward into this match. I was quite lucky to work with Prince while I was with the LSG with Lucknow Super Giants. Prince at the time was a net bowler, and there he was already marked as somebody that who's highly skilled. And it was great to see his journey now, and then playing for England, for India. I'm just blown away by how calm he keeps things. I think he's also a guy that's always every session looking for ways to improve his game and make himself better. But at the end of the day, it's about execution. And I think at the moment, if we talk about death bowling and that middle phases of the game, how he reads the play. What decisions he makes under pressure, and then executing that for me it's great to see. I think he's fitted in very, very well. I think if you follow the boys on Instagram, there's already a lot of photos been posted. With him especially, and just the way the guys have welcomed him. I think at the nets as a 15-year-old. At the international stage, it can be intimidating, but I think just the couple of nets we've had, it's been very impressive, and we all are excited to see how he goes, and when he gets that opportunity, I'm pretty sure he'll be ready. But in terms of coming into the squad and fitting in, it's been very smooth. Sammy's always been a player that what I liked about him is he's always confident. He's a guy that in tough situations he wants the ball, he wants to step up, he wants to make the play, and that's the X factor that he brings into his side. Is a guy always who's not nervous or who doesn't overthink the game, and he wants to make the play for the team. I think you need that character, that style in your side. And as a young boy when I played at Surrey, that this sort of his DNA. Coming through the system there, and he's been also player of tournaments and World Cups. He's done really well for England, with white ball when he got the opportunity at the death. I think he's a guy that understands his games. He knows how to calm the emotions down when it's a pressure situation, and that's a good skill to have. Look. To be honest with you, I thought on the eye the wicket looked a bit dry, and also the feedback that we got at the wicket was a little bit too pace and stoppy. Only thing I was then later, while we were batting our batting innings, what I was slightly concerned and nervous about was the fact with the rain, is the ball going to then skid on? But I reckon if conditions stay dry, the way we set up our bowling plans and attack in terms of the way we wanted to go about it would have suited the venue quite well. I mean, there's big square boundaries. There was also a wind, plus the surface is quite dry. So it's one of those never know sort of situations. But I would definitely like to think that the quality we have had in our bowling department, we could defend that on that surface there. Look, I think as an all-rounder. Is there anybody in particular you refer to? But I think it's always, good to have those options. If you can give them 2 overs to get through or 1 over to get through, and then you can always rotate your bowling unit around that. But I'm always a big fan for having that all-round option in your side that can give you the balance with bat and ball. Look, I don't think there's a lot of factors. I think we just need to also respect the fact that we've got the number one batter, or we had our number one batter in T20 cricket, Abhishek Sharma. Sanju was the player of the World Cup. He had a great, IPL. So I think as a coaching staff, it's only fair to show also the faith and back your players. Yes, there's a young man knocking on the door, and it's exciting. But I reckon for not just those two players at the top, but for the rest of the group, it's a good sign that we show that we back you guys. And end of the day, it is about putting performances on the board. That is key. But also, if you look at it, we also don't want to tinker too much and bat other players out of positions. So I reckon it's not a straightforward, okay, let's play him. It's a matter of backing some of the guys who's won World Cups, who's done really well for you in tough situations, and then also from there build and see how we can structure and make our top middle order as good as possible in these conditions. Look, I don't think there will be many tactical tweaks. I think it's just in England you need to sometimes give yourself a ball or two just to get used to the pace and the bounce and what the wicket is doing. Obviously in Ireland, conditions there was very foreign, where these guys were used to playing in the last couple of months, where the ball was coming through quite nicely. It can hit through the line. So I think it is just that personal responsibility in terms of what is your game plan? How can you change it a little bit to give yourself a bit of time to just get used to the conditions here. It is something for us as a batting unit, a bowling unit, and as a team in general, we need to get used to. And I think just showing the way we went now in the last game, there's already progress in learning and stuff going into our innings, and that is great. We can talk about it in rooms and in meetings, but in the day it's up to the individual and the player still to formulate their way of going about their innings. And I thought we did that very well up in Durham, and hopefully that can continue down now in the series.